Welcome to the most electrifying, high-octane mage build in Avowed. This is the Stormborn, a one-handed spellsword build that fuses fire, ice, and electricity into a whirlwind of destruction. This build is insanely powerful, rewards high skill and fast movement, and makes you feel like an elemental warlord tearing through the battlefield. If you want to dominate with a huge arsenal of spells while still being deadly up close, this is a build for you. To maximize the Stormborn's power, you'll want high intellect to spam spells infinitely, along with might to boost your overall damage. Dexterity is also great for faster swings and actions, and resolve will be needed to dodge as that is your only form of defense. The Stormborn is a hybrid battle mage, wielding a one-handed weapon in one hand and harnessing devastating magic in the other. You'll be cycling between elemental spells and melee combat, keeping enemies constantly on the back foot. This build excels in aggressive playstyles, utilizing mobility and precision to overwhelm foes before they even get a chance to react. Let's talk about the core abilities that make this build shine. Crackling Bolt fires an electric bolt that bounces from enemy to enemy, tearing through them. If there is only one enemy, it can also bounce off the environment and bounce back to the single enemy. Crackling Bolt is ideal for dealing chip damage to multiple enemies, mid-combat without thinking. It can finish off foes you never even knew existed. It's also great for fighting enemies who are in the water. A staple of explosive power, Fireball allows you to clear groups of enemies while keeping your offensive momentum. In the Stormborn build, mobility is key, so Fireball is best used to soften enemies up before dashing in with your sword. When combined with Arcane Veil, you can safely launch fireballs from mid-range before transitioning into close combat. It's best to fire Fireball early and often, as it leaves a lingering flame that burns enemies. This area control powerhouse blankets the battlefield in frost, slowing and damaging enemies over time. Since the Stormborn build is high octane, Blizzard helps you dictate the pace by forcing enemies to move sluggishly while you stay quick and aggressive. It's excellent for controlling large fights and keeping melee enemies from overwhelming you. A crucial sustain tool, Corrosive Siphon deals damage while healing you, making it a must-have for high-risk, high-reward playstyles. Stormborn benefits from weaving in aggressive lifesteal mechanics, and this ability lets you recover from burst damage while staying in the fight. Cast it on tankier foes to stun them and keep yourself topped up while you unleash other spells. When you get this ability fully upgraded, it'll basically give you a second health bar, allowing you to play much more aggressively. Since the Stormborn build thrives on movement and aggression, Arcane Veil provides essential survivability without slowing you down. It blocks incoming damage and gives you good damage reduction, letting you confidently push into melee, unleash spells, and disengage when the time is right. Try to remember to keep using this ability throughout the fight to always keep it up so you can always maintain your aggression. Because Stormborn mixes melee and magic, Bristling Frost synergizes perfectly with this build. It grants us an extra 15% damage reduction on top of our Arcane Veil, and builds up even more frost accumulation on top of our blizzard and our weapon, making enemies frozen so that they cannot hurt us and we can shatter them back. The key to mastering the Stormborn is speed and adaptability. You're not just a mage, you're a spellblade, weaving between melee and magic, open fights with a ranged spell, close the distance while casting spells, unleash a melee flurry, then finish off groups with an AoE explosion. This build rewards players who can think fast and execute even faster. If you stand still, you die. If you move, you dominate. The Stormborn build shines by blending speed, magic, and melee into one seamless combat flow. With Crackling Bolt and Fireball, you blast enemies from mid-range, while Blizzard and Bristling Frost control and slow them down. Arcane Veil keeps you alive in risky engagements, and Corrosive Siphon ensures you can sustain through tough fights. Now that we've covered the devastating arsenal of spells at your disposal, let's talk about the gear that takes this build to the next level. Since the Stormborn is a high-speed, high-skill spell sword, you need weapons and armor that enhance your agility, boost your elemental magic, and reward aggressive play. A fast, one-handed sword with elemental enchantments is ideal for keeping up with the chaotic flow of battle, which is why our weapon of choice is Andra's Offense. It's not acquired until very late in the game, unfortunately, but freezing enemies and attacking fast is exactly what we want for this build. Luckily, in the first act, we get a sword that is nearly as good anyway. Instead of freezing enemies, the last light of day will burn them, which makes it slightly worse, as frost accumulation is stronger than fire accumulation. But it's still awesome to have a flaming sword for most of the game. Additionally, I recommend getting the enchantment that gives you health on kill with the last light of day, as that'll help you stay in the fights longer. Our offhand of choice is the Grimoire of Greater Elements. This is crucial to this build, and it is very easy to acquire. This Grimoire makes 4 of our fantastic spells cost less and have very low cooldowns. It also saves us 4 skill points from fully upgrading our spells ourselves. One of the absolute best things about this build is that the most things we need can be found in Act 1, and for equipment, that's no different. We will be going with the full War Mage set. The War Mage's robes are fantastic because they grant us extra damage reduction while still maintaining light armor, so we have extra stamina and essence to work with. The extra ability cast speed is also very nice when every second matters in the heat of battle. Next up is War Mage boots. These ones are absolutely perfect for this build, as your only form of defense besides Bristling Frost and Arcane Veil is to dodge. Dodging with these boots will occasionally give us essence, which will help us spam more spells. Additionally, an extra 15 maximum essence is pretty nice itself. Next up is the War Mage's bracers. The choices for bracers aren't exactly super great in this game, but this one does give us minus 10 ability essence cost and plus 15 shock damage, which is very nice for one of our best spells in Crackling Bolt. Our trinket of choice will be the pearlescent icosahedral Hellstone. This gives us more intellect, which gives us more essence, which allows us to spam more spells. If you feel you don't need the essence, you can replace this with Mortal Haven, which is a more defensive option, but it'll give you a free Arcane Veil whenever you fall below 25% health, which is a great defensive option if you feel like you're getting one shot too often. The first ring of choice is the Ring of Greater Overseeing. In this game, there isn't really a lot of damage boosts for mages, so whenever you see the option for one, you have to take it. We have a few area of effect spells, so the more damage, the better. Lastly, for accessories, we have the Ring of Elemental Balance. This ring can be swapped out for a lot of other options if you don't like it, but I think it thematically fits this build very well because you're using a bunch of different elements. This, combined with all of our AoE, will have enemies frozen, burning, and electrified more often. Accumulations are great in this game, and in particular Frost is fantastic. The Stormborn isn't just the most fun mage build in Avowed. It's one of the most rewarding builds in the game. It pushes your skill, your reflexes, and your tactical thinking to the limit. If you love high-speed combat, devastating spells, and complete battlefield dominance, then this is the build for you. If you enjoyed this build, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Avowed content. Drop a comment below if you're running one of my builds, and let me know how you're crushing your enemies. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.